Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment.
Torres hits one deep to right center, going back Blanco, track, wall, see ya! Hit sharply and through for a base hit. That one is lined into left center field. That is going to be a base hit. High fly ball, deep right field. Waters back on the track at the wall.
Today is July 23rd. It is Game 3 between the Yankees and the Royals. Yankees bats came out swinging today. Gleyber Torres showcasing the power, 13-game hitting streak, and Anthony Rizzo broke his home run slump. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
How's it going, everybody? How's it going? Hey, before we get started, happy Ichiro anniversary. On this day in 2012, the Yankees acquired Ichiro Suzuki from the Seattle Mariners. I loved having Ichiro on the team. I bet if you brought Ichiro out of retirement right now, at 49 years old, he would probably still be the Yankees' best right fielder right now while Aaron Judge is out. Obviously, probably can't hit anymore. You know, that old. He wasn't hitting it great at the end of his career, but I loved having Ichiro as a Yankee. Yankees also brought back Andy Pettitte as a pitching advisor. I thought that was notable and an awesome move. Everybody who's ever met Andy Pettitte will tell you that he's an awesome guy. He's an experienced guy. He pitched for 18 years. He was part of that dynasty team, so he understands, how to win. He's pitched in pressure situations. He's probably got a lot of wisdom that he can impart on these young players. So I think that's a great move. I think the more dynasty guys you can have around, the better. Also, I posted this on Twitter, and you'll see it in the highlight reel. Both Anthony Rizzo and Giancarlo Stanton were using a more pronounced crouch in their stance today at the plate. They both had good at-bats. Rizzo had 4 hits today. Stanton hit the ball hard. Not huge adjustments, just slightly more crouched, maybe getting their eyes a little bit closer to the baseball. I think that helps. I mean, obviously, they're older players. I don't know if that's the full intent. Maybe they're trying to get a little bit more balance, a little bit more of an athletic position. I don't know, but whatever tweaks Sean Casey has made seem to have worked, and Joe Higashi giving Casey the credit already. So the Yankees got off to a great start today. It narrowed as the game went on, but Bowers was back in the lineup at the leadoff spot, and as you see the screenshots before and after, before on the left, after on the right, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But Bowers was back in the leadoff spot. He started the game off with a hit, and then Gleyber Torres, stay hot. 13-game hitting streak, 2-run home run, 16th home run of the season for Mr. Torres. He ended up exiting this game early. We'll talk about that, but he's hitting .264 now. OPS creeping back up towards 800. It's at 769. Continues to swing the bat well. Stanton followed up with a blistering line drive single. And, despite his body being essentially in the early stages of rigor mortis, he did lumber around to score on a double from Anthony Rizzo. Robert Ryan says, any word on Torres? Hip soreness. We'll talk about it. 4 straight hits to open up the game for the Yankees. Sean Casey for president. Been a long time since we've seen that. Bader singled to make it 4-0 that scored Rizzo. And for once, the Yankees offense set the tone. Have not done that much recently, even against bad pitching. This is quite possibly one of the worst starting pitchers in all of Major League Baseball that the Yankees faced today. So it's good that they weren't completely baffled. Now we know that there is a floor to how bad the Yankees can get. Now you just got to build up from there. Bottom 3, Anthony Rizzo.
On the track at the wall, Anthony Rizzo.
Don't you ever come back here again.
Long time since we've used that sound effect. First home run since May 20th. That's 45 games. And he just looked great at the plate all day today. Very balanced. The swing was very level. It was quick to the ball. It seemed like his swing was getting a little bit long and he was coming around the ball. That's why you saw pitchers throwing him that hard breaking ball inside. Kind of down and in. I'm going to adjust my lighting a little bit. Kind of down and in. And he would just swing right over it. But if you keep your hands a little bit tighter to your body, just a little bit shorter stroke, you can get to some of those pitches. And we saw it today. He was also driving the ball well the other way, as you saw with the double to left field. Royals got on the board with an opposite field home run from Salvador Perez. Opposite field home run into the second deck. Now, Salvi Perez is somebody who is kind of caught up in trade rumors right now. Now, he's the man in Kansas City, but with the Yankees missing a catcher, their starting catcher, this is the type of move I can see Brian Cashman making. We know he hits the ball well here. We know he can catch. He plays every day. He's a likable guy, a fun guy. And Kansas City's not very close to winning again. That's the type of move I can see Brian Cashman, making. Also, he's a big right-handed hitter, and that we know that's what Cashman likes to get, despite the need for left-handed bats. They got 2 more runs on a home run by Massey in the 6th. I know Massey's numbers are not good, but he obviously rakes at this ballpark. Maybe take a look at what he's doing to have success and get more guys who are, profiled like him in terms of their swing path or whatever, but better. Severino was done after 5 2/3 innings. Gave up 8 hits, 3 runs, no walks, struck out 5. He lowered his ERA to 6.46. It was 6.66, so it went from sinister to merely terrible. Velocity was good. He threw some nice breaking balls, but 8 hits and a couple of home runs to the Royals is not what you're looking for. But hey, can't win them all. Harrison Bader made a great catch to take away an extra base hit in the 7th. And then Anthony Volpe didn't start the game, but he pinch hit for Gleyber Torres in the 7th. We found out a few minutes ago that it is hip tightness. Now, the Yankees have a day off tomorrow. They have a day off on Thursday. In between, they have 2 games against the Mets. Would not shock me if the Yankees sit him for both of those games and let him play against Baltimore. Just give him essentially a week off without having to IL him. Hips can be trouble. They can be injuries that linger. And we've seen so many guys over the years just have hip tightness that lasts them all summer. Better to just get him out for a couple of days. And, maybe 1 day off is enough. My guess is he'll at least sit on Tuesday night and have 2 days off in a row. That would be my guess. Yankees got 2 more runs on a messy error by the Royals' first baseman, Prado, that made it 7-3. Higgy followed up with a sac fly to make it 8-3. That was it for the Yankees scoring. And then the Royals hit 2 home runs off of Ron Marinaccio. Junior Caroma says, what in the world happened to Marinaccio? Look, he hit the league like gangbusters last year, but this year he has definitely struggled. His ERA is 3.95. Last year it was about, just over 2. But the Yankees do hang on and win the game and sweep the series.
Ball game over. Yankees win.
So we got to hand out the belt. There's a lot of good candidates today. Obviously, Gleyber with the 2-run home run to get it started. Stanton had a multi-hit game with his new crouched stance, which is very similar to the stance he used in Miami, by the way, and the stance that he had when he first came to the Yankees. Maybe our new hitting coach actually looks at film. But the belt today goes to the man who went 4 for 4 and really seemed to turn things around and show us at least all that he's got a little bit something left in the tank, and a guy we really need to get hot, Mr. Anthony Rizzo.
Belt winner.
Ethan says, how was Oppenheimer? Oppenheimer was terrific. It was long. It was 3 hours long, and there was a ton of fast dialogue. I wish I had subtitles. I was going to go see it multiple times just so I can kind of, enjoy it in theater, but I think I'm going to wait for streaming now because I really want to watch it with subtitles. It was very nuanced. Instead, I picked up the book, the audio book. It's called American Prometheus, I believe, about Oppenheimer's life. Very interesting so far. Robert Ryan says he's 48. He needs 4 weeks off for a sore hip. Well, luckily, Anthony Rizzo's only about 32 or 33, so hopefully he'll be okay. A lot of hits today. Casey had 12 hits. Yankees had 11 hits, something we're not used to seeing from them. And Joe Higashi says, nobody beats the Riz. But, Maria says 3 hours. That's a long time to be in the theater. And it's actually longer because I had to get there, I never missed the preview. So I always get there like 15 minutes early. And I never leave when the credits roll. I leave when the credits are over in case there's, scenes afterwards. Although Nolan doesn't really do that. But the theater I go to, I order food when I get there. It's one of those places where you get like the restaurant style food. So I always get pizza and drinks and whatnot. And so we always get there a little bit early. So really I was there for about almost 4 hours in the theater. And it's not the most comfortable chairs. They're okay. But anyway, Peter says Oppenheimer's post-credits should be the beginning of the Godzilla movie. I was thinking maybe Terminator. All right, guys, let's take a look at the box score from today. And we'll also go through and look at the changes to the stance. So let's start with the changes to Stanton and Rizzo. So the reason I'm going on the Twitter version rather than the version I put in the reels because we have the labels on the bottom. So you can see on the left, this is July 9th before the All-Star break against the Cubs. Rizzo's definitely a little bit more straight up. You can see his back is kind of leaning away from home plate. And then on the right, you see his back is a little bit more leaning towards home plate. You can see the line that goes along the top of the wall there, and he's dipped just a couple of inches. It's the same camera, same ballpark. So theoretically, if his stance was the same, he should be in the same spot. And you can write this off as, well, little minor changes happen day to day, and that's possible. But the fact that two people did it, I thought was noticeable. So Giancarlo, same thing. You see him, his helmet completely blocks off the top part of the wall here, and here it's noticeably on the right, below the top of the wall. Looks like he's a little bit more closed even and a little bit more crouched. Definitely also hunched over towards the zone a little bit. So it looks like the Yankees literally just trying to get their eyeballs closer to home plate, trying to get their eyes closer to the zone. Anyway, let's take a look at the box score. Yankees, as I mentioned, 11 hits. Bowers had a hit to lead off the game. Torres had a home run in the first inning. Stanton, multi-hit game. Rizzo, 4 big hits. LeMahieu, 1 for 3, but he had good at-bats, and he hit the ball hard. I'm encouraged. I'm very, very encouraged with what I've seen from DJ LeMahieu over the last several games. Now, I know it's the Royals, and before we pop the champagne, we need to understand, yes, it is the Royals, but you can only win against who's in front of you, and progress begins somewhere. So maybe they get hot. They got the Mets coming in. Mets are very beatable. Maybe you win those 2 games too, and all of a sudden you got 5 in a row headed into the series against the Orioles in Baltimore. That's going to be a tough series. I'm thinking about going to the game next Saturday. I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I almost never miss a recap, but if I do, and I'll do it from the stadium. We'll see. I'm thinking about it. But Bader, 1 for 3, 1 for 4 from Peraza. Looks like they changed that error to an infield hit, and he got an RBI. And Higashioka 0 for 3 with a sac fly. Severino, 5 2/3, as we mentioned, 3 earned runs. Hamilton came in, 1 1/3 with 2 strikeouts. King, 1 inning, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts. And Marinaccio, unfortunately, had a tough day. 2 hits, 2 solo home runs. So, hey, look, not perfect, but in terms of wins and losses, you'll take it. You will take it. 3-0 over the weekend at home, you will absolutely take it. Samantha says, I don't think it's a coincidence that their stance has changed, and now they are hitting. They have a real hitting coach now instead of a machine or a guy with an iPad just standing there pointing at stuff. Sean Casey probably has a lot of great advice, and not every bit of it's going to be applicable to every single person, and not everything he says is going to fix everybody, but these are professionals. And if another professional points out, hey, look, you were a little bit more crouched, a little bit more towards the strike zone when you were swinging better, maybe try that. And then they try it, they maybe hit the ball harder in batting practice. Just that little bit of confidence can get a guy going. It might not be a huge change. Confidence, feeling good is huge in baseball. Ethan says, was hoping Peraza would have a nice game today. Pray the Yankees keep letting him play. I agree. I really want the Yankees to continue to give him opportunities. Jeffrey Cole, bringing the optimism, says, you need to trade Glaber now. You'll never get as much for him as right now. He will go into a funk. Every player goes into a funk. I don't think you're breaking any huge news that he'll go into a funk. Thank you for the dono. But he's been, arguably your most consistent hitter all season. I'm not above trading him. I wanted to trade him in the offseason and play, Volpe at second and Peraza at short. But the fact that he's hitting so well and hitting so hot right now, I have a difficult time dealing him. Difficult time. Tommy says, not a fan of trading for Perez, especially since he would be blocking Wells. Yeah, I like Austin Wells. I like the fact that he's left-handed. He's in AAA now. I'd imagine they're going to want to give him at least a few weeks at AAA. They moved Volpe along after 22 games, so it can happen. I don't think Oswaldo Cabrera played for that long in AAA, maybe a couple of months. Peraza, I feel like he had a bit longer time in AAA before they called him up. But, hey, look, it's possible. I always say when somebody's at AAA, they're one pulled hamstring away from the major leagues. Hey, we got to talk about today's sponsor, Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite events should not be frustrating. It should not be difficult. It should not take forever, and it should not be expensive. Download the Game Time app. Get last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Use the code NYY Recaps at checkout, and you'll get $20 off. I might use the Game Time app a couple of times this week because I got a couple of days off. I was also thinking about going to that Baltimore game, and the first thing that popped in my head was I should do Game Time because it's cheaper. So download the app. You'll be helping the podcast. I want them to be back as a sponsor next year. They're really a great sponsor, so let's download the app and support our friends at Game Time. Pasha Noble says, bring in Jorge Posada as a consultant. I would love to see that. I would absolutely love to see that. Matt B says, welcome back, Andy Pettit. Yes, welcome back to Andy. The wisdom, the experience, it's all going to be helpful. The Yankees do have some young pitchers who have not pitched in the playoffs before that I feel like, as they mature, it'll be good to have somebody to lean on. Let's see here. Tommy says, thoughts on Pettit coming back? We talked about it in the beginning. Peraza has a bullet. Volpe has a second base arm, says Gilbert Vick. Peraza does have a very good arm. Volpe, if you look at his numbers, the metrics, he is above average as a shortstop. He's done a nice job. But I have to say that I agree his arm is much more suited to second base. Does that mean they're going to switch him? No, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to switch him. I think the Yankees are planning to roll with Volpe over there as long as possible.
Game over, man. It's game over.
Andrew says, get Billy Beane in the house. Throwing big money at big names clearly doesn't work. I don't think Billy Beane wants to come out east. The other voices says, get Tampa's player development staff. That's where the Yankees should be flexing with their money. They should sign the best executives, the best scouts, the best of everything that doesn't count towards their actual payroll and towards the luxury tax because they can afford it. They're competing with other rich teams like the Mets and the Dodgers, but hell, the Yankees should definitely bring in some of the new school approach. I have to agree with that. And Junior Caroma says Peraza has a cannon for an arm. He absolutely does. He has for sure got a shortstop's arm or a third baseman's arm. His arm reminds me of Manny Machado. Just absolute bullets. Absolute bullets. All right, guys, we got a day off tomorrow. I will be back at some point this week. I mean, I'm definitely going to do the post games on Tuesday and Wednesday, but either on Monday or Thursday, probably Thursday, I will do a trade deadline preview episode with a guest, still trying to iron out one of several possible guests. It'll be a celebrity guest, but we're working on it. I'll see you then. Download the Game Time app, subscribe on all of your favorite podcast platforms, like and subscribe to this channel. We just crossed 33,200 some on. I'd love to get to 35,000 by the end of the season. It's been creeping along. It tends to increase as the Yankees do worse because misery loves company. But the offseason stuff is also huge on this channel, so you don't want to miss that. And I will see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.